Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om and good evening from Niagara Falls. I begin our class this evening by apologizing for last class. In our last class, I was half asleep and half awake. Having just come back from Bharat that morning, I think class was okay, but there's a lot that I don't remember from class also, which is a really unique experience for me to be part of. And so in our last class, I didn't share very much about our Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra 10. And I will share some insights throughout our classes, beginning today's class with a insight from our travels. Unlike previous yatras where we used planes and we used trains, for this yatra we only used buses. We had 2 huge private buses for 2 weeks, and that was probably the scariest part of our yatra because this is all hilly terrain. And many times when the bus drivers were going the wrong way, they had to reverse. And now these are single lanes on mountains, and you have these 30-feet buses that need to reverse. So as they're reversing, the people in the bus, all of the yatris are screaming. And if they're not screaming, they're holding their hearts and feeling how fast their hearts are beating. But the drivers, they're not screaming, they're chilling. They're breathing in a relaxed way because they know the bus, the brakes, the dimensions, and we don't. So they are fearless and we are fearful. As we were driving, we drove through cities like Amritsar and Chandigarh, and we drove through villages whose names I don't know. And often I would look out and see carnivals. And if you can think of carnivals in your local areas, part of a carnival is an exhibit with a house of mirrors, where they have long mirrors and short mirrors and crooked mirrors. And when you walk into this house of mirrors and you see yourself very stout or very plump or very skinny, you laugh. You know, this is just a fun way to look at yourself. Now we're so advanced, we don't even go to carnivals, we just use our iPhones, correct? Make me look skinny, make my hair long, and on and on and on. But suppose a dog wanders into that house of mirrors. And when that dog looks in a mirror, but there's hundreds of mirrors there, that dog thinks that there's hundreds of dogs there. So what does a dog do when it sees another dog? It barks. Now there's 100 dogs barking at that one dog. And that dog goes nuts. There's no peace for that dog. We know that there is oneness in duality, so we are fearless. Those dogs, even I'm saying it, that dog doesn't know the oneness, only knows the duality, and so there's fear. From our yatra, what we got to experience, what we got to learn, is that the purpose of our equipments is to understand that which enlivens the equipments. The purpose of that bus was to take us to where we wanted to go. The yatra wasn't about the bus, it's where the bus would take us. The purpose of living is to realize life. The purpose of duality is to go deeper than duality to reach that oneness. There is no other purpose. There is no other path. And if you think there is another purpose or there's another path, that's just that ego that fantasizes that there's more options, there's more paths, when there's not. And the more honest and humble we are, the more we appreciate this is the purpose, and we start walking the path. If not today, next year, if not this lifetime, the next lifetime, one has to understand and appreciate this is the purpose, this is the path. And how fortunate we are that we're getting to experience Atma Bodha. Knowledge of the equipments to reach that which enlivens the equipments. Knowledge of living, how to live, so I can tune into life. In Shloka 28, we had studied how one lamp can illuminate many pots. And the key here is that oneness. The way we understood this is that there can be a single cause and infinite effects. Life is singular, is that oneness. Duality or living can be lots, but we're all connected by life. And within the effect, the presence of the cause is still there. This is a wooden table. It's a table we eat at. It's a table that Vyasa sits on. It's still flammable because wood is flammable. It doesn't matter what shape we turn wood into. And the sutra for Shloka 28 was what song? From whom? From Bob Marley. One love, one heart. One love here, you can understand as one purpose, one path. And if you follow this path, you'll realize in that heart, in the heart of hearts, that there is life. In my heart of hearts, in your heart of hearts. One love, one heart. In Shloka 29, we had studied how when there is a lamp, another lamp is not needed to bring light to that lamp. In the same way, when there is one light that is my awareness, I don't need another light to know my awareness, to know who I am. To understand this shloka more, I want you to change the word light to knowledge. When you have this knowledge, you don't need another knowledge. This is knowledge of happiness. Doesn't matter if you know how to use WhatsApp. Doesn't matter if you know directions to get to Colorado. Does it matter about any other science? Once you know how to be happy. This is the only knowledge that is needed. And now I want you to change the word again. First I said light, then I said knowledge. The third way to understand this is joy. When I understand that my nature is joy, I become independent. And so our sutra for 29 was, selflessness leads to fearlessness. Here, fearlessness you can also interpret as independence. One who is selfless, they're independent. They don't care if people praise them or criticize them. They don't care for reciprocity. They don't care for pleasure or position or possession. Selflessness. This is their love. This is their purpose. They become independent. We continue on to Shloka 30, which we've not studied, yes? Okay. We're going to study a whole lot today. I'm telling you in advance we're going to study 5 shlokas today. This will put us at half of Atma Bodha. We're moving too slowly, and when I say we're moving too slowly, I'm moving too slowly. Which means that as I speed up, then I would encourage you to read in advance, take notes, reflect more, etc., etc. Nishidhya nikhilopadin neti neti ti vakyataha vidyad aikyam mahavakyehi jivatma paramatmanoho. Together, nishidhya nikhilopadin neti neti ti vakyataha vidyad aikyam mahavakyehi jivatma paramatmanoho. Acharya Shankara says here, nishidhya, which means having negated, nikhila. Nikhila is like the word akhila, which means all. All what? Upadhis. All the limitations that are associated with equipments like body, mind, intellect, ego. In more detail, we tend to think, hallucinate, that the body will bring me joy. So I live for pleasure. The mind will bring me joy. So I live for possession. The intellect will bring me joy. I live for position. Here, nishidhya, you can take this in a technical sense of negating that I am the body. To get to that, the means to get to that understanding is to negate the possibility that the body will bring me joy, that the mind will bring me joy, that the intellect will bring me joy. When I negate the possibility that these equipments will bring me joy, then I start to disassociate with them. Acharya Shankara here is giving a 100% message. He's saying negate that you're the mind. That's difficult for us, who are always living in our mind, correct? Mind games we play with ourselves, with others. We have to keep thinking about how to bring this to life, how to make this practical. And one way to do that is to negate the possibility that the body can bring me joy. On our yatra, there was some newer people to Chinmay Mission and to me. And they were asking me, why did you move to the ashram? Why did you live as a brahmachari for 2 years? And I told them, because I was clear that the circumstance that I was in, articles being circumstances, were not going to bring me joy. That door was closed. And there was a door that was open. I didn't see what was in the door, but this door was closed. So I walked through this door. That's negation, where the path becomes simpler. And the simplest path is when there's only one path, right? Next pada is na iti, iti vakyataha. Vakyataha, this is what the Shastras, this is what science of self-development says. Na iti. You are not the equipment, so you're not subject to the limitations of the equipments. Body, mind, intellect. Neti, neti. I had shared with all of you when we studied Shloka 22. I had asked you to think about how you've changed with your relationship with Vedanta. And I shared with you my change with my relationship to try to bring some experience to all of this. And I shared that during and post Vedanta course, I've been able to direct my mind more. I've been able to concentrate more. And how this started to manifest, when I was living in the ashram, it was like the mind became malleable. See this, my hand I can move. I can wash my hand, I can dirty my hand, I can put my hand in cold water, hot water. It's malleable. To make the mind the same way is practicing na iti. That this is just matter. This is just an equipment that you can do whatever you want to it. We are most distracted because we don't practice na iti. We still think iti, this is who I am. But one who learns how to concentrate, they have a new relationship with the self and the equipments in front of the self. Again, I'm trying to share, how do you get to being more than the body? By learning to concentrate, by manipulating the body, the mind, and so on. The third quarter says, Vidyat. You should know. Know what? Aikya. The oneness that is taught through the Mahavakyas. The beauty of Vedanta is that it's not just about negating. When you rock climb, you can't just let go of grips. You have to hold on to higher grips to let go of lower grips. When I loosen my grip on the lower, I will be confident in loosening those grips when I'm holding on to a higher grip. Here is the positive assertion of what I am, iti. So the second quarter is saying, na iti, I'm not this, I'm not this. The third quarter is saying, iti, I am this, I am this. So what am I? How many Mahavakyas are there? I hear 4, I see 4. If you study Sanatana Dharma from a high lens, then yes. If you type into Wikipedia, how many Mahavakyas are there? 4 will come up. But actually, every statement in the Upanishads is a Mahavakya. So you cannot count how many Mahavakyas there are. But nonetheless, we love Wikipedia. It is our primary resource for research, even when it comes to self-development. There are 4 Mahavakyas. A iconic statement that teaches me who I am from each Veda. Here are the Mahavakyas, and I'm going to give you some terminology and reference points to make this very clear. The first Mahavakya, Vakya means teaching, Maha means great teaching, is Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma, which means consciousness is infinite. This is called the Lakshana Vakya. Lakshana Vakya. The purpose of this teaching is to indicate, Lakshana means to indicate what you should be thinking about, who you are. After the Lakshana Vakya, coming closer is Tattvamasi. This tends to be the most popular. Tattvamasi. This is known as the Upadesha Vakya. Upadesha Vakya. So this is what you should think about. And now the Guru comes and says, what you're thinking about is actually you. Tattvamasi, the Upadesha Vakya. You come closer to Ayam Atma Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. And this is known as the Abhyasa Vakya. Abhyasa Vakya, which means when the teacher comes and says, this is you, you have to start to practice this. Try to make this your own. Abhyasa. And finally, the closest is Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahma Asmi, Aham Brahmasmi, which is known as the Anubhava Vakya. Anubhava, which means it's my own experience now. These are the Mahavakyas. Now I'm going to share the same spatially. Okay? Prajnanam Brahma is saying that is infinite. That is indicating farness. Then I use the term close, coming closer. Tattvamasi means you are infinite. That versus you. If I call someone I care, hey, that, get me a glass of water, versus you get me a glass of water, there's a closeness that comes with that. You should try tomorrow. Tell someone, hey, that, I want that donut. That donut and that person is given the same respect. So from that is infinite to you are infinite. You come closer to this is infinite. This is infinite. This shows much more closeness than that. That is my son versus this is my son. In English, it really doesn't mean any difference. But as I'm saying it, you can feel, right? This is my son. I don't say that is my son. I say that only if I'm mad at him. That's my son. Or I say this is my son. And then the closest is I am infinite, which is Aham Brahmasmi. Okay? So now you've learned all of Vedanta in one pada of Atma Bodha. What is all of this teaching in the last quarter? That the jiva, you and I, are actually Ishvara. We are not dasas, we are not servants, we are not slaves. We are patis, we are lords. That Atma, I think of my Atma as different than your Atma. When I die, where will my Atma go? Atma is Brahman. My Atma doesn't go anywhere like Brahman doesn't go anywhere. That's what the teaching of Vedanta is, the teaching of Atma Bodha is. Your sutra for Shloka 30, arrogance expresses ignorance. Arrogance expresses ignorance. Why? Okay, there's the sutra. Now why? Because an arrogant person will always feel that they're separate from Ishvara. An ignorant person will feel their Atma is different than Brahma. So arrogance is that feeling of separation. That only happens when someone is ignorant. Okay? So here I am with my aspirations of covering 5 shlokas. When I spend 20 minutes per shloka, maybe we'll make this a 2-year course. Or a 20-year course. We'll do 1 shloka per year. Yeah? Okay, we're on 31. Avidyakam shariradi. Vidyakam shariradi. Drishyam budbudavaksharam. Drishyam budbudavaksharam. Etad vilakshanam vidyat.
Etad vilakshanam vidyat.
Aham brahmeti nirmalam.
Aham brahmeti nirmalam.
Avidyakam shariradi. Drishyam budbudavaksharam. Etad vilakshanam vidyat. Aham brahmeti nirmalam. Acharya Shankara shares in the first quarter, avidyakam, which essentially means ignorance. And then he says sharira, body, adi means etc. His implication here is the gross body, known as the stula sharira, the subtle body, which is the mind, the intellect, known as the sukshma sharira, and the ignorance, the avidya, known as the karana sharira, the ego, the vasanas. So this is what Acharya Shankara is implying in this first quarter. And you naturally know what he's trying to say is this is not you. Here I listed out, through Acharya Shankara, 3 bodies. The gross body, subtle body, causal body. Which one are you? If you keep switching between these bodies, sometimes you're all 3, sometimes you're 1, sometimes you're 2, which one are you? Logically, you can't be any of these. Yet, we're deeply convinced that I'm all of these bodies, when that doesn't make any sense. It's like someone who's having an affair based on movies. They go from this partner to that partner to that partner. They just move around. They don't have any partner. There's no peace. That's like us with these bodies. We just keep flirting around in a restless way, when logically, I can't be any of these if they keep moving in and out. These are all, going to the second quarter, drishyam. This is all perceived. And anything that is drishyam is ksharam. Ksharam means perishing. Please remember that equation. Perceiving equals perishing. Perceiving equals perishing. This cup of water here, it's perishing right now. Tomorrow this will be less healthy. A month from now it'll be way less healthy. 10 years from now this will be toxic. It's perishing. The Sanskrit terminology for this, try to remember this also. Yad drishyam tan nashyam. Yad drishyam tan nashyam. That's a fine insight on how we should live. And now Acharya Shankara really lays down the hammer. He says, you know what these bodies are like? The gross body, that is the body, the mind, the ego. They're like budbuddha. What does budbuddha mean? Like bubbles. Imagine, my body's like a bubble. My mind is like a bubble. Our son Vyasa, he's speaking in his own way now. So he spits a lot. He drools a lot. He blows a lot of bubbles. And we take photographs of Vyasa. We like to hug Vyasa, but we don't collect those spit bubbles and store them. January 17th, 2018. Oh, then tomorrow there will be 3 of them. We'll keep all of those. Bubbles is how my body, mind, intellect is. I was trying to think hard of what example can show more insignificance about what the body, mind, ego is, and I can't think of one. Here's another experiment you should try tomorrow when you're really mad at someone, and you will get mad at someone. That's how we are. You tell them, you're like a bubble to me. I don't think that person you'll stop being mad at that person. You'll just both laugh it out then if you said that. But such insignificance. What should we do with this insignificance? Etad, that which is insignificant. Vidyat, we should know. Vilakshana, that we are different. We are separate from these equipments, these bodies. Simply put, we are more than just living. We are more than the waking, dreaming, sleep state. We are more than the gross, subtle, causal. You're more. Why do we feel like we're small and live in such a small way? We're more than all of this. And if you can pick up on the word lakshana, lakshana is like the word linga. Linga means indicator. The fact that you can think right now, and we've already studied that the mind is matter, the mind is dead. The fact that I'm cognizing this screen, what I'm saying, how I feel, there must be the presence of that which is sentient, that which is alive, that which is deeper. So these bodies, instead of just hating them, these bodies are actually teaching us that there's more. And we need scriptures like Atma Bodha and teachers like Acharya Shankara to help us vidyat, to know this. In the last quarter, Acharya Shankara is saying, if you're not all of this, this is who you are. Aham. What have I told all of you aham means in English? Aham means I. What am I? Brahma. Brahma means existence awareness. Iti. Thus, I is existence awareness, nirmala, and not that which is lesser, that which is dirty. I am existence awareness. The example that Swami Tejomayananda shared with us during these shlokas, if you look at the light above you right now, imagine the body to be the light that's shining. The case of that bulb to be like the mind, and the filament to be like the ego. So the first, what you really are identified with is the light, right? You don't keep hugging the case and cleaning the case. You're interested in light. But the case allows that light, and the filament allows the case to have that light. But who are you actually? The electricity. And if there's light, there has to be electricity. Here is your sutra for 31. Separate the separable. Separate the separable. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I know that that's a real word, and I know what it means also. Separable means that which can be separated. Okay? So separate the separable. Separate that which can be separated. And if it can't be separated, what does that mean? That's you. And if it can be separated, it's not you. So simple. Enlightenment is not complex. We are complex. We're planning what our retreat theme is going to be in Boston later this year. And I was suggesting that our retreat theme be unlearn, in capitals, to learn. We have to unlearn to be able to learn. That's a cool theme, right? Who knows what that retreat will actually be about, but it's a cool theme. And that's all we're concerned about, is getting people there using fancy terminology so that they realize they don't know a lot. And that's good. That's about unlearning, right? We're on 32. Dehan yat vana me janma. Dehan yat vana me janma. Jara karsha layadayaha. Jara karsha layadayaha. Shabdadi vishayai sangaha.
Shabdadi Vishayai Sangaha
Nirindriyatayana cha.
Nirendriyatayana cha.
Together. Dehan yatvana me janma. Jara karsha layadayaha. Shabdadi vishayai sangaha. Nirindriyatayana cha. The benefit of the knowledge that we are exposed to, that hopefully we're experiencing, is deha anyat vat, that I am different than the body, that I am separate than the body, which means na janma, that I'm not born. In other words, that the body is born, but I, existence awareness, is not born. And we've studied that a lot. If you weren't born, you would be free, no? When we're born into limits, isn't it? If you weren't born right now, there'd be no body, no mind, no ego. You'd be free, correct? That's why our prayer in Vedanta is not that may I not die. I'm already born, I'm going to die, but may I not be reborn. That's a really profound prayer. Because if you're born, what's going to happen? Jara. What does jara mean? I start to age. Then I talk like this. And then what comes? Karsha. Now Gurudev has written, you become senile. I don't know if your text says that. My text says that. Karsha means to thin out. Thin out. You become very lean. And I like how Gurudev has written senile. He's saying the mind thins out. Instead of just the physical sense, the mind starts to thin out. You just become disoriented. And finally, laya. Laya here doesn't mean being lethargic or sleepy. Laya means death. If I'm born, I'm going to die. And adi, and so much that comes in between. The flu comes in between. A heart attack comes in between. Wrinkles come in between. A whole lot of white hair comes in between. 2 sets of teeth come in between. So much comes in between. And we see this all around us. But it's not going to happen to us, correct? We're beyond all of this. We have been blessed by a pujari for akala mrityu, that we'll choose when we die. As we get older, I think we come to appreciate old age more. And I see all around me people who are aging and will die gracefully. But I see many more who are aging and will die fearfully. And if you just isolate the mind for now and keep it aside, as you get older, physically it's like torture, isn't it? You just move slower, there's more aches, your sleeping is not the same, your digestion is not the same, you can't carry stuff as much. Right? That's what happens. What should we do? In the third pada, Shabdadi. Shabda means sound, etc. So sense pleasures, vishayaihi. The pleasures of the senses, the experiences of the senses. Sangaha means associating with. You have to pull in the na from the next quarter. One should disassociate from the pleasures that come with the senses or are for the senses. In other words, don't think of pleasure. This third quarter is saying, don't think of pleasure. Don't think of pleasure. Why? Because the body is born. The body will age, thin out, and die. Pleasure is for the body. At one point, I had told you the etymology of the word vishaya. The etymology for vishaya is vishin vanti badnanti iti vishaya. Pleasure is that which has bondage or pain built into it. So why would I think about pleasure? Especially in the last quarter, nirindriya. Nirindriya means because I am without the sense organs. In other words, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the ego. All of the demands of the body, mind, ego, I don't have to have those demands. Because now I have the knowledge that joy is uncaused. In our last class, I tried to share this a whole lot, that joy is uncaused. And if joy is uncaused, why do I waste my time with pleasure? It's a poor investment. I was at our ashram today and setting up the thermometers because the thermostats, because our classes are resuming, etc., etc. Downstairs in our dining hall, we keep the temperature much colder than upstairs in our shrine. Why? Because Bhagavan lives in the shrine. So we keep the temperature warmer there. In the dining hall, there's tables and chairs. Do we care how cold it is for the tables and chairs? No. It's definitively inert material, but Bhagavan's murti, we feel Bhagavan is there, so we keep the temperature warmer there. If I understand that this body and mind is like those tables and chairs at Chinmayadhara, do I have to treat them so well, pamper them so well? Shouldn't I be identifying with that which is deeper? Your sutra for 32 is, I don't have a birthday. Now I'm not talking about the body or mind or ego. I don't have a birthday. Okay? When we were studying in our ashram, then sometimes some students would go and tell Guruji, Swami Tejomayananda, today's my birthday. You know what he would say to us? He would look at us and say, Main kya karu? Which in Hindi means, what am I supposed to do? Here you are, 3 times a day learning that you're not the body, not Janma, that you don't have a birthday, and here you're telling me that today's your birthday. What am I supposed to do with that? On your birthday, remember your parents, remember your gurus, remember God. Finished. Why? I don't have a birthday. I suffer from delusion, thinking that every day I'm going to move faster and I'm going to move faster. So once again, I'm subservient to Maya, and we're going to end our class here. Oh.